You don't have to eat that. Chewing on the sticker. Chewing on the iron-on. This is Dash. She is about 6 months old, maybe 7. She's been released for about a month or 2, and I haven't seen her in days. This is the first time this week I've actually gotten a chance to hang out. You see them in the trees, but it's obviously hard to identify them when they're going 100 miles an hour and they're 50 feet away. But she's one of our homebodies. She makes it home occasionally for some good rubs and a drink and some snacks. But it's becoming less frequent. And about mating season, she's going to be just old enough. So as that goes, she's going to start establishing her own little nests, her own area, territory. She's going to know who's trouble, who's not, where to go to safety. I think she's here because there were hawks outside today. We got a couple of them in the area. They don't linger long, but sometimes they'll spend an afternoon in the area, and I'll just have to keep an eye on my squirrels, quote unquote, in case a hawk lands in one of our trees. And really the only thing to do is to make noise, try and look as large as possible, maybe some reflections, but there's not a lot you can do. It's nature. They're out there trying to feed their babies and themselves as much as the squirrels are, and you and I. So, but this is an ideal place, I think, for squirrels. And if I ever come back, I want to come back as one of these little fluffs. And I want to live here with me, taking care of me. Like, talk about meta-inception. You get too warm? You're always hot on here. It's hot outside, it's hot out here, it's hot everywhere. Daddy's hands are like little ovens. And she has a thermostat that goes to about 200. Once they learn to regulate their own heat, where they can crank it up quick, I've reached into some of their nests after starting to fall asleep, and the temperature difference is quite noticeable. Right? Are you gonna bring me babies home? Likely not. By the time they're old enough to have kits, which are what baby squirrels are called, kittens, or kits. By the time she's old enough to have them, she won't be regularly visiting us, so it won't be in her instinct to bring them to dad. If I were much more a part of their day when they're 10 months, a year old, it may happen, but in the 8 years we've been doing this, nobody's brought babies home. You're just chilling and loving life, aren't you? I hope this was nice and relaxing. Obviously, she's got a leg out. And happy Mother's Day to all the mamas everywhere. Squirrel mamas like me. No, to all the mommies with all the children everywhere, happy Mother's Day. We'll just be here doing this. Their favorite spots are between the eyes, shoulders, and face mishes. What was that? Somebody's outside whistling. If if you have any ideas of wondering whether she's comfortable or not, check out that back leg. A lot of folks, not a lot, I get comments that you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't be handling them, you shouldn't. True, all true. But I raised them from pink, little, blind, deaf pinkies that look like chewing gum to this. So there's a bond. Just don't go outside and grab a wild squirrel and decide, let's rub it. And they do wild out. Which means to me that they eventually learn the outside and they stop coming back. There are some in the yard that will continue to jump on us years later as we give out treats, but that's all the interaction, and they won't go near anyone else. Just my wife and I. Everyone else is danger. They've never had chances to interact with visitors or company or friends or anything like that. These are just rehabbed squirrels ready for the outside. I like the ear rubs. And I generally just pick at their fur to simulate what mom would have done to clean them. And it stimulates their own grooming. We've been on for almost 10 minutes. We've been doing this for twice as long. It just took me a few minutes to position the camera to where you can actually see. Our girl Peekaboo needs this type of grooming all the time from me or mom because she doesn't have any front teeth, which is what they use to pull at their fur and make it ready to be replaced by the next season's coat. So Peekaboo gets combed with a literal comb. She gets picked at like this. She likes to be scrubbed with a blankie. And that all helps move the fur along. Unless you're really close, you'll never likely notice, but they do have a demarcation line across their body as they're changing fur. You can see the difference. I call it bikini season because you rarely start to notice as it gets down to their back hips. What other hips do you have? To their hips and tail area, and it's just like a line of these are longer, these are shorter. And vice versa come wintertime. You are just being an extra special girl, aren't you? Yes, you are. What are you watching, brother? Her brother's over on the other side of the room eating, which is why he's not bothered her at all. What do you think? You gonna stay here? Just make this your new daily routine? And they all love this, whether it's the triplets, Peekaboo, she or Dot or Ash. All the squirrels get this type of treatment if they stay still long enough, which is rarely the case. I'm shocked that she's been here this long. good. I have to get y'all some ice. We put out water all the time, especially in the summer. Central Florida gets really hot, so we put water bowls out everywhere. There are multiple water stations back here on the porch. And about midday, I'll go put some ice in their bowls. Just make sure everybody's hydrated. Ready to break camp? Is that enough of this foolishness? Since it's very warm here, Dad. I think you mentioned ice. Let's go get some.